My name is Carmen Reynolds, and I have been asked by Crystal's Exquisite Catering to come in and do a workshop with you all this evening on professionalism in the workplace. Now, you guys are a couple of weeks in to your class, but what you're going to learn tonight is something that you will use in the middle and all the way to the end and when you graduate, and it's going to teach you how to be successful in the workplace as you move forward. So I got some handouts here for you all, and it's for you to follow along as I do the presentation and teach you some skills. And then also, I like to have an interactive, session. So if there's questions, please feel free to, let me know. And if I ask you a question, please say your name first, just so I get to know you just a little better. And I will let you know very important points in here when you need to take a note or something like that. So if that happens, take a note if you can, because it is going to be something that you will use later on as you move forward. And this is really important in the workplace, what I'm going to go over with you tonight. Some of you won't use it now, but you will definitely use it over and over again. Okay? Everybody got a handout? Everybody got a handout? And that's okay. You can't take my picture today. Okay, but that's okay. All right, so again, I have some bullet points on the front. So the first thing that we have on the handout is career choices. And then as we turn the page, then these are going to be the things that we go. So we have career choices, we have resumes, we have proper attire, the interview process, and soft skills. Okay, so go ahead and turn the page. We're going to start off with career choices. As you all see on this page, I have quite a bit of space between the sentences that we have. So that means that I'm leaving room there for you all to go back and put some notes in there, and then you can reflect back on them later. What I like to see with this particular type of handout is when you get to the end of this course, then you look back at what you said and find out if you still feel the same way, if you've improved, if you've learned something, and then you can add on. Okay, so the first thing that it says here is, what am I passionate about? So you guys are in a culinary class right now. Okay, so tell me something that you might be passionate about. And what's your name? Devin. What are you passionate about? In your life, it can be about the class, but tell me something that you're passionate about. Okay, being successful when he grows up. Okay. Okay. Just like what? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, those are good things. So what I want you to do here is when you get some time, when this is over, you can go in and say what you're passionate about. Now, what I'm passionate about could be my career, and then at the end, you want to see if you actually were able to do some of those things that you were passionate about and be successful with them. Okay. The other thing is you're passionate about something, but set realistic goals. A lot of times people will set goals that they cannot reach, and then it makes them be discouraged. Okay, so setting goals that you feel like are attainable, even if it's a small step. If I say I'm going to run for 10 minutes the first day, I get past those 10 minutes, that gives me the courage to the next day go a little further. So set realistic goals. And down here, I left a space again. So on there, you want to set goals, because people that set goals and look at them can see if they achieve them once they look back over it. So setting a goal is like a dream. There is nothing wrong with that. And you might not reach it every time, but that's why I say try to make it realistic. So you can look back and say, you know what, I had this goal to go through and finish this culinary class and maybe not miss a day. So that's real important. Get the education needed for the career that you choose. So you all are in here because you like culinary. And so that is one of the careers right now that you have chosen. So to get the education for it is the next best thing. You can't just get out there in the workplace and say, hey, I just want to cook, but you've never been trained to do it. Okay, so get the education. That's real helpful. All right, you know when you go to these jobs and they say experience needed, well, if you don't have the education or you haven't worked anywhere, then you're not a qualified candidate for that position. So you want to make sure that you get the education. Once you get the education, which is what you guys are doing right now, then you want to master the skills learned from your experience. Okay, what does that mean? Can somebody tell me what they think I mean by that?
Master skills from experience, which means like you have an experience, but you want to master that skill so it makes you go farther.
Okay, that's an awesome answer. Anybody else think something different? Want to add to it? Okay. All right, so that was a very good answer. Basically, to master the skill that you've learned from the experience. Once you guys go through here and you're doing culinary, how do I master this skill? I do it over and over and over. And so that's how you're going to get better at it. It's just like riding a bike. When you first started, we had those training wheels. And then we kept on going, and the training wheels were able to be released. So that's what that means. I'm going to master that skill so that I can move forward and keep it going. You guys are working with a 5-star chef, and how did he get to be good like that? He did not come out of school and just know that. It came with him doing it over and over and over. But education came first. Once he had the skill, then he had to master the skill. Questions about that? Any questions? Okay. Lastly is to get a job. Because who's going through here just because they like it and don't want anything from the end? Okay. A goal at the end. What would be a goal for you at the end? Once you go through this training and you're old enough to get a job, what would be a goal for you? To cook? Would you like a job? Or? Okay, okay. That's most people's goal. You know, I never had anybody that walked up to me and said, you know, I'm going to school because I love it. Okay. We get a few of those. Most of them are going to school and college because at the end, they want to have a career and they want to be successful. They want to take care of families and things like that. So questions over the first topic that we just discussed. Anybody have questions? You guys know there's room on there for you to go back and add some notes and set some goals for yourself. Okay, that's a challenge for you. And I'm going to have Chef check it later. So maybe at the end you say, you know what, this is a goal I accomplished. It'll be something for you to look back and be proud of yourself as well. Okay? Next is resume. Who can tell me what a resume is? Don't read it first. Tell me what you think it is.
Resume, it talks about you, your skills and stuff that you have done in the past.
Okay.
A resume is something like you want employment, like it makes you identify you.
Absolutely right. So I'll put the definition in here, okay? A resume is a document used by persons to present their backgrounds and skills. So you guys were right on time. Who has one? Does anybody have a resume? Okay, awesome. So she's the only one that has a resume because she has some jobs that's on there. Now the goal here, because you guys don't have jobs yet, but is you're moving forward to be able to get a job. So some people are straight out of high school, some have been working on jobs for a long time, but how do I start a resume and I'm just coming out of high school? So those are things that you're going to learn. As we move through this course, I will come back and revisit with you guys, and you'll start to get your resume together. You're going to be able to take notes and start to write things down about what you feel like is on your resume. You say, oh, I haven't had a job. Okay, that's okay. If you're in school, if you've been in a class that you were the class president, or if you were in Glee Club and you were the secretary, or those are things that you can use as skills on a resume. You start to build a resume by what you've done. Okay? And as he said, a resume is used to secure employment. It's like your calling card. Basically, in today's day, you cannot get anywhere without a resume. It's not like we used to. You'd be able to walk in and you can actually say, hey, can I fill out an application? They give it to you, and they might talk to you right there. Your resume is going to be your calling card. So you do have to know how to do one, and you need to know how to do it properly. Okay? Yes.
So, like, say if you do an intern, you still put that on your resume?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. An internship, you might not be getting paid for it, but you have experience. Most jobs out here today, a whole lot of them anyway, are going to say, do you have experience? They don't care whether or not you got paid for it, but yes, you have the experience, and that's going to help you in the long run. Okay. Questions? Questions? All right, let's go to the next page, because this is going to be real important for you guys. The first one is proper attire. The second page is for the men. Okay, proper attire is going to be very important. As you see, you guys are going to have probably a uniform, possibly. Chef has on a uniform today. Proper attire is important, so you'll say, well, what does this have to do with me? So on this page is very, very important. I didn't put any pictures or anything, but today I came in a suit. So for you all, I'm going to use my suit as an example to give you, ideas of what to wear. And you guys, you won't wear a skirt, but you will wear a suit also. Because there are some do's and don'ts that you want in the industry that are unacceptable for you to get a job. And a lot of times you won't know what happened when you turn your resume in, they call you for an interview, and you feel like you did everything right because they called you from the resume because they liked you before they saw you, and then you went in there and said, well, what happened? Okay, it could be anything. So that's why proper attire is very, very important. Even if you're going to be on a job where you wear a uniform every single day, you still also need to come with proper attire. For women, it's very, very important that you don't go in with low-cut tops. I have all those on the handout to you because it's really, really important that you go in there and you dress like you want the job. Okay, you don't dress like, hey, you hire me or you don't hire me. You dress like you want the job. Even if you're going to wear scrubs every day, a uniform every day, a chef's jacket every day, it doesn't matter. Your first interview, then you should have on the proper attire. This handout is going to give you the do's and don'ts for women, the do's and don'ts for men. Okay? What do you feel like would be something that a man should not wear in the workforce? Jeans, okay, jeans wouldn't be good. As a woman, now you have a resume, what do you think that wouldn't be a good idea for a woman to go in and wear?
Short skirt.
Absolutely. Now let me say, you might be sitting across from a man who he loves looking at you in a short skirt and all that, but the reason that he wouldn't hire you is because you could be very distracting in the workplace. Nobody else can get any work done because they're all staring at you. And that would be a reason that he would not hire you, even if he likes looking at it. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts for men and for women. We have a lot of times now, a lot of people are back to natural hair. There's nothing wrong with natural hair, but it needs to be neat when you go in there, especially in the culinary field. Because we don't know what could be all caught up in the hair. You go in there, it's all wild. That's very important. Health inspectors come in. That's why hair has to be covered up. So if you're going for your interview, just make sure your hair's neat. Even if you're wearing it in the natural form. You know, dreads and things like that are very popular now. Okay, people are more accepting of it. Just make sure that you're neat. Your clothes are not wrinkled when you go there. Okay, so the do's and don'ts are on here of what you should and should not wear. Tattoos are a big thing in the industry. Okay? A lot of you might have some. Make sure when you go for your interview that those tattoos don't show. What I tell someone is once you get on a job and you find out what the atmosphere is, then you find out what you can and cannot show and you can and cannot wear. It's very important that the first time you go in there, too much perfume, things like that. You know, for men, you want dark suits. You want to go in there with a belt on. If you can see where a belt goes, then that's what you want to do. You don't have to have a lot of money. You know, when looking for a job, if you have that one outfit, you put it on, you go for the interview, you hang it back in the closet. I got another interview, I put on the same suit. I don't have to keep buying a whole bunch of clothes. I wear the same suit. When I was interviewing for a job, I wore the same suit. Went home, took it off. Next time I went for an interview, I put it on again. It was my favorite suit, pretty much. I called it my lucky suit. So it was a dark brown suit, and it was pants, and I put it on every single time. For men, you definitely want a tie on. Unless you have on a sport coat, and you don't have to wear a tie, but you definitely want to, you know, look like you came prepared for the job. No jeans, no wrinkled up clothes, no sneakers, things like that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can find, you know, proper attire in a lot of places. Questions about that? Not a lot of cologne, not a lot of makeup for women. Okay, you got to be very, very careful about that. If you smoke, I get a lot of people that are nervous. If you smoke, you never know what that person feels about that on the other side. A lot of our places now, basically nationwide, you know, are smoke free. So if you got to smoke before you go in there because you're nervous, then you need to take all your clothes with you, jackets and things, and smoke before you put all that on. Because